Okay, so I've been having trouble with the starter out of this dozer ever since I got it. The problem with these loader frame versions is that once that boom is down, you can't get into the starter. Now the old original starter was this ginormous pig that you would actually have to put down into this hole right here, and it barely cleared between the frame rail and the block. So upgraded starter is these gear reduction 28 MTs. But the thing is, you got to make sure is you got the John Deere nose cone version here, and I don't have the part number in front of me. Local starter alternator shop can probably find all that for you. But these things, they crank the dozer over a whole lot better, these old 4-cylinder Deeres. Now, what I've been having trouble with out of this one for years now, slow starts, doesn't really like to crank. I believe part of the issue is probably up here where the starter button is. The wiring is old. And in the next later video, I'll probably be running new wires back down to this thing. But a good quality connections in your battery box. Battery box is way over there. Starter's over here. You got about 6 foot of cable running in here. Make sure that you've got a good high quality welding cable with good sealed up ends. So somewhere in your welding cable you're going to find something. More than likely it's going to go 2/0. That's 2/0. 2/0's one of your best options for getting in here. It's also going to say it somewhere here on the actual cable itself. Right there, 2/0. 2/0 cable, good sealed up ends, keeps it from corroding. So right now I'm having trouble with my video editing software, so these are short, raw little videos that I'm putting together. Backlog that I'll put up later on. We'll pause the camera, go ahead and get this thing swung in here, and then I'll fire back up and go from there. Okay, got it all back in. Wind's blowing pretty good out here, so I'll keep it quick. Otherwise, the static and squelching the speaker and all will get kind of annoying. What I didn't catch yesterday, I picked up the cable and everything from the shop. I should have had them put a 90-degree bend on this, and I forgot to. Either way, it tied up an extra bit of cable. What you want to watch for is if you do make a bend like this, keep it off of anything metal, like this stainless steel. Braided stainless fuel line here poses a problem a lot because it'll saw a hole through anything, especially it loves to chew through cables. But as you can see, the 28 MT fits in there a lot better than the original. What I did is back up in here, maybe be able to see it back in there. Originally was a bolt, and I replaced those with studs a long time ago, make it easier. I usually use a magnet to get the washer on the post, and then another magnet to get the nut started on there. The other hole is right down in here. You may or may not be able to see that, but same situation. You pretty much need a 3-year-old's hands to be able to get in here. What I found, I like using snap-on and blue point wrenches, but what I found actually fits in that hole the best is just a standard old Craftsman. And 9/16 or 14 millimeter is what you're going to use to get in that hole. Because getting up in here, you have to sort of hook it over top of the stud, and it doesn't leave you a whole lot of room for the tail of the wrench out here. So if you're using a longer one like a snap-on or a blue point, it's going to get out here and interfere with the frame, and you won't be able to turn it. Forget about trying to get a socket in there, because where the stud pops out, you got like this much room before you get into the housing of the starter itself. So run the cables back up in. Oh, forgot to mention, yeah, it's 9/16 or 14 millimeter for the actual housing bolts to get in there. You can get a socket in the backside here, but you're going to want to go invest in a set of wiggler extensions and some intermediate sockets. A short, stubby socket's going to fit a little bit, but it's just going to aggravate you when it gets on the actual head of the stud, or head of the nut that's on the stud. You got enough of a tail on the stud in there, if you do swap out the studs, that you're going to want to use these intermediates. This wiggler will actually move as it rotates around, because as you can see, you're dealing with a very small little place in here. I'm not left-handed, so bear with me, but it'll get in there, and then it's at kind of a crazy angle to be able to get in and get that out. So also too, I mentioned the old Motorola alternators that are on these things are problematic. This one actually popped and caught fire, ran back over to the battery one night, so we've since then swapped out the old problematic Motorola with a one-wire Delco, and it's working a whole lot better. I need to take a look. It's probably a bad connection in there somewhere, but I got to bump it up over 1500 and it'll start charging. Then I can bring it back down to like 4 or 6, whatever idle is. So I probably need to pull it off and get it cleaned out. It's been on there for about 6-7 years now. So got the cable all ran. As you can see, we ran it across, put some of the corrugated flex tubing on there so that it doesn't contact anything where it runs up through and over into the battery box itself. Nice thing is your bolts for your floorboard are 9/16 to get those out, along with your starter, so it limits your amount of wrenches that you're going to be needing. Battery boxes on these old things are terribly cramped. I've threatened many times to be able to saw out the backside and extend it out or set these batteries in here sideways. It's has not come to fruition yet, but it does leave a lot to be desired for. So we got our big 2-aught running in here. We're going to throw it on the power here in a second, pop this puppy off and go park it down the field where it belongs, not up here next to the house. Again, like I said, the original old switch here, I think this guy's what's giving me some problems as well, but there's a convoluted mess of wires somebody repainted years ago, and so it's going to be the yellow wire. They're all yellow back there now. So I'll probably cover that in another video later on. But again, when you're wrapping this battery cable through here, throw some of the corrugated tubing on there, zip tie it off in a few places, any of the wear points and the rub points. And like I've run the stainless steel fuel line through, you got to make sure that's not contacting your battery cable anywhere, or you're going to have some real fun song and dance on your hands. Real quickly, this is what I ended up with for the fuel system. I was getting a pinch point and freeze up here in the back. It was freezing and gelling, so I ended up knocking out the original fittings because it went down to like almost a 3/16 opening. Ended up putting in the watts. We got a full 3/8 or 6 AN running through now, and I'm not having any problems with a good shutoff valve sitting in there. And in the backside back here, I've also got on the bowl itself for a drain valve, we've got a full 3/8 running out there as well. So not having as many issues with the fuel system anymore, especially after putting in the big filter, and it seems to be flowing a lot better and running a lot better. A little bit quicker starts as well. So, and then of course the original video popping off with that ether injector fix. So there we go. I'm going to put the floorboards back in, pop this thing off, put it down the field. Thanks for watching, and hope this helps you out a little bit with your struggles with older equipment.